Hey everybody, welcome back to the Monday Q&A show here on Airsoftology, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and is also back from IWA. That's why I missed last week. I was in Germany doing the IWA, and some people criticized me for calling it IWA, and then the very last day they were closing down, and then the announcer in the place said IWA. Anyway, he said he was IWA. Welcome back. I'm over my jet lag. I swear I'm almost permanently jet lagged these days. Actually, coming up in a couple weeks, I'll be heading to North Carolina, United States, Fayetteville. I did that weird. I'm going to Black Ops, Airsoft, and Paintball for Cape Fear Rebellion. If you guys want to have a chance to come play with me, I would love it to hang out with you guys and gals. Also, I'm going to be doing some interesting things with a video on this one. Do something a little different than other YouTubers do. Anyway, I'll be playing on the north side. I understand that some of you guys may have signed up for the south. I'm on the north, and I would love to have you on my team for one good reason. I'm going to be filming while I play. We'll be doing some gameplay. Yes, it is true. I will have gameplay, but I'm also going to want some of your videos too while you're there. Those of you that run with me, I'd love to get a hold of some of your videos, some of your great moments, and I can stitch them into my video, especially if you have a channel. I can help promote you. I want to kind of carry on what I do with the Mondays videos into this. I think it's something a little different. I know some YouTubers, including like Novrich, has actually highlighted other players. I want to do the same, but this time in the same event. I know Jet's done it a little bit too with some of his squad mates, but I'm inviting you, not just friends, these are just people outside the world. I'm inviting you guys to come, be a part of this, and help. Share the footage, I will stitch it in. I need some great moments. You need to play good, obviously get some good moments of excitement, but we're gonna put it all together and make a great video together. I think this is something kind of like Project YouTube Airsoftology. I don't know. But anyway, I wanna have you on the channel. Also, real quick, if you guys wanna support the channel, I got patches. I got like this HPAG thing, if you get depending what you like, some tactical corgis, logos, I got some lifestyle, I got a bunch of stuff up there. Check it out, free shipping worldwide. So the price you see gets you anywhere in the world. I'm back to shipping, I'm back here for a while, all that. By the way, if you wanna know about that game, the links and the link to the web store are all down below in the description box, and I probably put the web store link pop up over there. By the way, I made it a little wider angle this time, so you can kind of see, you can kind of see a little bit over here. A little bit more of the room, just give you guys a better feel. I don't know, when you like it, do you like it a little tighter? Like it wide? I don't know, it just doesn't really matter. I was curious what you guys think. Anyway, enough about that. Let's dive on into your questions from last week's comment section in this week's Tippmann mail call. Blazing Coolness 123 writes, hey Jonathan, about how much does it cost to make a new airsoft gun model? I really want to see some new guns in the field, but it never occurred to me how much it may cost for the airsoft companies to produce new models. All right, living in Taiwan, I've had some exposure to more of the engineering side of airsoft. And let me just tell you this, it costs a lot more than you think it does. First off, the engineering time, you have to have very smart people doing these designs, and all these pieces have to come together. And something like this is a great example. I know I've had this back here a couple weeks. This is the HK416A5, the new one. And you're like, what's the 416? Well, the rail's new, the upper receiver's new, the lower receiver's new, the grip I think is the same. Nope, grip's new on that. The stock's new. I think the buffer tube might be the same. Almost all new parts. Now, looking at that, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, first off, engineering. Second, they want to get it right. It's licensed, right? So it has to be perfect, right? It's measured correctly. So there's a lot of time involved. We're talking hours and hours and hours and hours of engineering. Then there's the prototyping. You have to pay to get all these things prototyped, put together, fit, make sure it works. I mean, sure, the mech box inside's the ECS mech box. It's the same mech box they've been using, right? So you at least can start with that. And the inner barrel and all that. The workings are essentially the same, but the outside gets expensive. So once you've done all this, now you've paid for these prototypes, which are extremely expensive, like hundreds or even $1,000, probably $1,000 a piece or more, maybe probably like $1,200. I'm just guessing right now, but it's gonna be north of $1,000 US dollars probably for each prototype. You're gonna make 10 of these things. You got to send them off to get approved. So that's what, 10,000 right there US. The engineering time, I mean, who knows how many engineers you have working on this, getting paid a good wage. Engineers and people that are good at drawing don't get paid minimum wage. We're talking pretty good solid wages here. Then after all that, you have to invest in molds. That's a mold, that's a mold, that's a mold, that's a mold, that's a mold. There's a five, let's just say 5 molds, not counting the molding for the new flip-up sights and all the little bits and pieces. Molds can be $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 $20,000. So you could look at 50 or 60,000 or more in just molding for this. So all in, you're 100,000, 120,000 US dollars in on the development of a new gun. Now, I don't know. I mean, the more complex guns, the more parts, you're gonna have that. I'm guessing, no one has told me the pricing here. I do not know, but I think I'm kind of ballparking it, and I should be pretty rough. It could be anywhere between 50,000 all the way up to goodness knows what. I don't even want to know what something like the new MP7 cost for the AG from VFC, because they redesigned a mech box. They had to get new motors made and new gears, and these aren't standard gear, so they have to go even farther. New mech box shells. Even the internal parts are new, not counting the outside. So there's a lot of things involved, molding for the magazines, all those things. So yeah, it could be quite expensive. It could be 50,000 or 100,000 US dollars to start a new gun. So yeah, that's why you don't see them that often. It takes these big companies like Umarex and Tippmann and G&G and all these guys out there with these years of experience and money and big international sales to be able to get behind and build these products, or the factories to just make the leap and do it. I think some guns are cheaper, like pistols, obviously going to cost a lot less, but all in all, it could be pricey to start a new gun. Jorge Orzoco writes, what do you think of the newish or unknown brands as HFC, SRC that are cheaper, but quality seems to be okay compared to mid-range rifles and pistols? People have always encouraged me not to buy them, but after trying them, they seem pretty good. There are of course some great hidden gems out there. In fact, HFC and SRC are far from new brands. They're actually quite venerable, quite old. Been around for a long time. They just aren't marketed that well as a standalone brand in the West. You don't see like HFC or SRC advertised out there. Now, that said, companies like Vulcan use SRC as some of their OEM guns for the Vulcan line. So their battle machine line, I think, is SRC. Don't quote me on that right now. They have some of their models that are, and they do make good guns. They make okay guns. No, mind you, these are price point guns for the most part. Some of these brands you're talking about, specifically, let's talk about SRC, Star Rainbow Company is what it stands for. In fact, I just saw their booth at IWA, and they're gonna be more value minded. So of course, more affordable means less upgraded parts inside. That is just the name of the game. That's how this works. And you try to put it next to like a Crytek or a VFC or something of that tier like a KWA, of course it's not going to be the same gun. It's not going to be the same quality. You can't compare those two. You can't compare a luxury car with a budget car. That's just not fair. Will they both get you down the road? Yeah. Will they both shoot BBs? Of course. Are they going to do it at the same performance level? Probably not. Just probably not on that. I mean, you're looking at something that's more durable, obviously higher price point, typically means more reinforced components, a little better engineering involved. I'm not saying these are bad brands. They are just fine. They're great. There's a reason they've been around for so long and are still here. It's just they're more budget focused. And in fact, I just think they're often overlooked. Depending on your budget, if you do have the money, I always recommend to try to go to the most you can afford. Try to get the best, because buying an airsoft gun is kind of like buying a laptop. That you're not going to replace them that often, and they're quite expensive, to be honest. They're not, I mean, unless you make a ton of money, they do cost a pretty hefty chunk of money. So try to get the best you can afford, and then use that as a platform to build off of. But that's just my advice. But these brands, they're fine. HFC is a good brand. SRC is a good brand. I mean, for their line, for their level, when you're looking in that area, they're equal contenders. I think there's some I think that are better. I think when you're looking at that price point, I have to really lean toward G&G a little bit. I think they still own that market, and there's some other brands out there that are I think have really honed some of the stuff in that budget-minded bag. I'm talking like sub $200 US guns here, but they're still good contenders, and definitely some you should look at and compare. And like I always recommend, if you have the chance, get them, shoot them, like you said, try them out, and then give it a good run before you make the investment. NZX Eagle writes, hey Jonathan, is there a mag that has the doctor is in, doctor is out, but instead shows if your mag in your pouch is empty? Now I like that. I talked last week about the Enhanced Polymer Magazine 2 that PTS will be releasing soon, that actually has a gauge down the side of the mag that shows you how many BBs are in it. Now it's just kind of like a full and empty, and it slowly works its way. Well, it works its way that way, I think, from the bottom to the top. Full at the bottom, empty at the top. It's a little orange kind of thing, and then when it's totally empty, you can look down at the mag, and you can see the orange follower sticking up. But what you're talking about when they're in your mag pouch upside down, looking down and seeing if they're full or empty, I do like this idea. I don't think it'd be that hard to execute. I think at a certain point, you can have your mag like down to like the last 10%, maybe 15 or 20%. We have a marker where maybe something in there triggers it to flip from green to red. Or if you really are advanced in engineering, 100% or almost all the way full, like above 75% it's green, around that 50% it shows a yellow, and that. I'm talking about on the bottom, like this is actually my business card case. It's a Magpul 15 rounder. By the way, if you guys want a great business card case, get a Magpul real 15 round magazine, strip the follower and everything out, and it becomes your business card case. You take the bottom off. Anyway, we're talking about right here, like the opportunity to use something like this, the hole there for the bottom of the spring for the follower assembly and the spring and all that would go on a real mag like this one. Something like this would work, having that. So when it's in your magazine, you can look down and go, oh, that one's yellow. Oh, that one's red. Oh, that one's green. These are for people who put their mags back in their pouches. You re-index your magazines back in. I do that some games, and then some games I have a dump pouch. When they're empty, they go in there. But I do find myself shoveling through those at big Milsim events, especially it's when I wear my dump pouch, trying to figure out, is it full, is it not, fill it up halfway, can I use that again? Because there's usually no reloading in the field. So you're trying to shoot every last BB and you don't know how many are left. I think that would be it. I think maybe the PTS can take a page from this playbook and the EPM version 3 have that as a feature. And thanks for the great idea. Griffin writes, how do you feel about homemade airsoft weapons? Like the Swamp Sniper airsoft bow, plasma fallout rifle, Halo needler, etc. I think they are super cool and absolutely have a place in airsoft. In fact, one of the guys on my team years ago made a homemade airsoft flamethrower, very similar to what I've seen floating around the internet in some of the videos lately, using a vortex block and all that. I had one, actually 2 different ones, probably 12 years ago. Before even HPA was out, I was using like the paintball tanks, CO2 tanks, and like this regulator that came from the home improvement store to do portable pneumatic tools. I had to hack together some stuff. Used a pressure washer handle, all these things. Shot like 100 BBs a second. It was crazy. Low FPS, high rate of fire. I just stood back and kind of used it for support. You didn't want to get up close with this thing. But anyway, I think they're fantastic as long as they fall within the rules. I think the flamethrower, unless you have someone who's really careful, like I was always way back, I was always just kind of spraying, acting like, you know, my roll, just kind of hitting an area, a little burst, then waiting a while before I did it again, is good. If you're gonna run it as a CQB weapon, it's a terrible idea. It's terrible. It's too many BBs per second at that point, 100 something. I mean, it's just basically just unbelievable. When you put a burst out, you're gonna get hit with like 40 BBs. And I don't care if you're shooting at 1 joule, that's not gonna feel good. You know, it's not really the spirit of playing. I'm okay for a higher rate of fire guns, that's fine, but that's a bit too much. It's like I used to call it like the blast of angry hornets. It was so inaccurate too. So like at 15 meters, it'd be like this big around, this ball of BBs coming at you. It was terrible because there's no hop up in it. Actually, we did a hop up version later on. Anyway, I think they're cool if they are done right and used properly. That's the most important thing. So I think there's always room for airsoft and always room for cool things in airsoft as long as everyone does it the right way. All right, that's it for questions this week, which means it is time for the Code Red Headset's video recommendation of the week. And this one comes from Fear Delirious, and he recommends JDM Airsoft. And he's like, hey, this guy's good. He does some good stuff. He's funny. And I started watching his channel. Again, one of the sleeper channels, it's out there, one you didn't really know that was going on, and here it comes up. Great stuff. I watched this one about an airsofter flipping out. I think we've all been there. Sensationalism in airsoft, you know, I'm kind of like on the fence. It does get views, but sometimes like this, but he has a good message. Again, he does unboxing, he does reviews. I think this is, again, another all-around channel that is so undersubscribed. It's beyond me why we don't have more subs on channels like this one. So definitely want to check him out. I got the video playing right now. He does a lot of different stuff, different formats. Definitely one I would love to see grow. He has a lot of skills and a ton of chops. I can see this one bubbling up to be another one of the big YouTubers out there. So anyway, guys, definitely want to check him out. If you like what you see, go over there, click, watch the video. If you love the video, mash the sub button over there on his channel and let him know I sent you. Also, if you guys want to have your video on this channel, it's simple. You can promote your own channel or any channel you love down below. In fact, I had like 3 or 4 really good recommendations this week, so I'm going to kind of save a few of the other ones back. but you can also promote your own channel down there. I'm cool with that. Trust me, we all have to start somewhere. So let me know down in the comment section below your favorite channels that you watch on YouTube, Airsofter, just kind of roughly in the airsoft world. Also, don't forget your questions every week come from down there as well. So until next week, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, pick up a patch to support the channel, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.